Union-1 for Object 279. This is another pretty simple mission. We have to average 2,000 assist damage at spotting and tracking across 5 battles, and do 2,500 average if we want to get the secondary done. The only gotcha here is we have to do 1k assist per battle if we want that battle to count. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a couple of minutes because it came into play towards the end here. Now the tank I chose to do this in is the tier 10 Russian medium, the Object 140. And I chose this tank because, one, this mission is about damage largely, so I want to do it at tier 10. And two, this tank has amazing view range. The view range is at the cap for this, and it has a good rate of fire. So both of those are good for this. The only downside of using this tank is it has low gun depression, which if you've ground out to this far in this line, you know, and it can have poor acceleration on certain terrain, so it does feel sluggish towards the end of a battle as you're racing to get that last assist in. Okay, equipment. Make sure you have coated optics because we are trying to do some spotting here, and you're going to be on the run a lot, so I would recommend using vertical stabilizers. And because part of this is tracking, make sure you have the rammer as well. I'm sure at least 2 of those are pretty standard on this tank for you. Anyways, as far as consumables, I ran 2 repair kits and a large med kit. I seem to lose a lot of crew in this tank for some reason. So if you don't have the Object 140, that's fine. You can use the T100 light tank in the Russian line. I think that is a better light tank if you're going to do light tanks than the Chinese light tank, just because of the view range is pretty similar, but the rate of fire on the T100 is better, and that's good for tracking. The other tank is the Object 277. This is basically just a really fat, well-armored medium tank. It has a really good view range for a heavy tank. You can just charge into the lines and get this done. So I'm going to show you the 3 battles here. It actually took 2 attempts for me to do this. On my first attempt, first match didn't do terribly well. Only got like 1,300 assist. And then the second match, I got one shot by an FV 4005. So I decided to hit the reset button. So this is my second attempt. Now you'll notice on Fisherman's Bay, I went mid. And got a little bit there, but then I moved into the city. And the way that I approached this mission was I wanted to get spotting damage early. And when that dried up, and I didn't think I can get any more easy spotting damage in the early positions, then I moved to tracking. And that's why I was in the city tracking that Object 260. But then once that sort of middle phase of the battle was over, I went right back to being a spotter. So here I pushed way north of the city, and it was because there was a full health grill up here, and I wanted to proxy spot him for artillery or any of my teammates that were south of me to do damage. You notice I'm not trying to do a lot of damage here. I just wanted to light him up so that my team would kill him. Just gonna get rid of that E50 there because I don't want to deal with that guy, because really what I want to do is run across the map and spot the rest of the team. I am in full out, almost Sua Scout mode right here because we're at the end of the battle. My team is pushing up. There's a couple people in mid that are waiting for spots. So I start to light the team. I'm not shooting. I'm just making sure that that Death Star is not pointing at me because I don't want to get blasted. I basically light up their entire team. And they all go down. Now I did share a little spotting damage at the end here on this bat chat. Someone else was lighting them too, but again I didn't shoot, and got that done. Second battle, I did the same exact thing, but I only did a few hundred damage early on with spotting. So I moved into tracking on the one line here. Got a little bit of damage from tracking that Polish heavy. But really where things started to come about was, again, sort of in that third phase of the battle where our team was pushing in, and I wanted to be essentially the front line. I wanted to get up north as quick as possible, if the arty will allow me, so that I can spot whatever tanks are near their base, arty or any TDs camping. Now it turns out, and this was actually fantastic for me, there is an AFK medium tank here. I'm spotting him. I'm trying to do tracking. I'm trying not to do damage here, but unfortunately I am. This is something that I probably would have done if I had done this mission all over again. I would have spent a lot more time firing HE. Again, for this low here, I started to do damage accidentally. Not that any of my team is shooting this guy anyways. I'm just trying to keep him tracked for when a teammate does decide to hit him. There we go. Somebody kills him, and we're good to go there. On the third mission, I actually got a little nervous. First, I went to the city to spot heavies pushing up north. Then I ran all the way down the railroad tracks and got 0 assist. So I just decided I'm full-on scout for this mission. We started to push towards their camp, so their tanks started to come back from city. And I wanted to be up there spotting them as much as I could. I took a bunch of damage, but that's okay because once that medium tank was gone, this was just about lighting these tanks and getting people to shoot them. The damage actually went from nothing in assist to well over 3,000 pretty late in this game. So it just goes to show that even if it's not working out early, it will eventually work out, particularly if you're aggressively scouting towards the end of the match and your team obviously is winning, or hopefully is winning, because that's where you're going to get a lot of the assist in. And I'm just going to push around this hill because I know there's a tank back here, and I want to just check, is he pointing my direction? No, then I'm just going to perma-track you. And again, this is where I wish I had carried more HE. I'm firing a little fast here, but it's because I don't want this guy to repair and somebody to sneak a shot in. But that was it. Now that left me with a little bit of damage to do, like 600 assist. I'm not going to show you the last match, but the one thing I will say about the last match is, even though I only had about 600 left to get the average for the mission where it was, I had to do 1,000 minimum to meet the restriction for the mission. So I did it in 4 matches, got like 1,100 assist in the last match. You don't have to do it in 5 matches, even though it says average over 5 matches. But you have to get that minimum of 1,000 per match, or that match won't count. If you did 999 assist, you would effectively get 0 assist for that match. So just pay attention to that. So I think the important thing here is recognize the opportunities to spot. So typically early in the match and late in the match, you need to recognize where those spotting opportunities are. And you do need to be at the front lines, because when those spotting opportunities come up, you want to take advantage of them. There may be tanks that are faster than you. You may have light tanks on your team that are probably going to do the same thing because they're trying to get spotting damage. So just make sure you're on the front lines. Carry a lot of HE for this one. I really wish that I had carried probably 10 plus rounds of HE. I normally carry 2 to 4 in my tank because I don't use HE a lot, but carry 10 or more rounds of HE to make tracking easier without doing damage. And I think that's one of the other things is you want to limit the amount of damage that you're outputting, because you want your team to be doing the damage for the tanks that you're spotting and tracking. The other thing, this is you saw this when I was engaging that low. Make sure you have people around you. If you're spotting and there's nobody there to fire at what you're spotting, it's pretty pointless, right? Particularly if you're trying to keep somebody tracked, you're probably doing damage while you're tracking them. And that's just damage that somebody's not going to do. So if you don't have support, just move to another location and then come back to that guy when you do have support. And the last thing I'll mention is, because of the restriction on the mission of 1K damage, make sure you get that 1K assist before you start to be aggressive, because even if you have a poor game and you only do like 1100, that's better than doing 999 and not having that 999 count. So make sure that you get that 1,000 assist before you really start to be aggressive in the match. All right, guys, this is a pretty easy one. Even though it took me 2 attempts. I probably still could have done it in the first attempt, but I decided since it was the second battle to just hit the reset button and start all over again. So you'll probably knock it out in 1 attempt. So good luck with this one, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.